The bomb just went off out in Ashburn, and no one's talking about it. I've been covering this team for years, and I've seen how this organization handles injuries. So let me tell you, when the Commanders start making these practice squad moves, it's because they know something the rest of us don't. Today, I've got 3 pieces of news that'll make you rethink everything you thought about this season. First up, we just signed a veteran wide receiver, and that move is proof our worst fears about our starters' injuries are coming true. Second, a cornerback who was supposed to be our defensive savior is out here playing like they've never seen a football field before, and the stats are crippling. Third, we've got a pass rush legend pulling in millions just to be completely invisible out there. Do you folks really believe, sitting at 2-2, that there's still time to fix all this? Think Dan Quinn and Adam Peters have some secret plan to save our season? Because I'm about to break it all down for you and explain why the next 48 hours are the most critical of our year. Let me take you back 3 weeks. Remember when Noah Brown got hurt against the Raiders, and we were told it was day-to-day? Remember when Terry McLaurin was limping off the field against the Falcons, and the team tried to sell us on it being just precaution? Well, guess WH8, that was all a lie, and I know because we just signed Robbie Chosen. Now I know what some of you are thinking, Marcus, it's just a practice squad wideout. What's the big deal? And here's the thing, Robbie Chosen is 32, and he's been bouncing between Miami and San Francisco like a ping pong ball these last couple years, putting up terrible numbers. 5 catches. 5 catches over 2 full seasons. This is not the guy you sign thinking he'll help you on offense. This is the kind of move you make when you're desperate, and you know your receiver room is on the verge of collapsing. And you know what keeps me up at night about this? This organization never makes preemptive moves. This front office always waits until things blow up before they react. So when I see us picking up Chosen now, when we don't even have an official word on Brown or McLaurin, my internal alarm starts going off like crazy. Let me give you the full scope here, because this is critical to understanding how bad this is. Jaden Daniels is just barely coming back from that rib injury. McLaurin's got a quad injury the team is calling week to week, which in NFL speak means we have no idea at all when he's back. Brown's dealing with a groin and knee issue that started as day-to-day 3 weeks ago. And now we're talking about possible injured reserve. And on top of that, we just lost Javonta Jean-Baptiste for months with a torn pec. Are you seeing a pattern here? Because I see it crystal clear. This front office is watching the roster melt in front of their eyes and trying to throw on patches before the whole thing collapses. Signing Chosen is basically confirmation that Brown is headed straight to injured reserve this week. Now let me ask, are you ready to watch this offense try and function without 2 of our 3 starting receivers? Because let me paint the picture for you. That means Deebo Samuel, who's been fantastic since showing up here, is about to have to carry this whole passing game as our WR1. I like Deebo. You like Deebo. Everyone here loves Deebo. But to expect him to carry that load for 4 or 5 weeks, with Daniels still coming back, is a crazy ass dot. And yeah, we've got Luke McCaffrey with 2 touchdowns in back-to-back games, which is great for a rookie. But McCaffrey's still learning, still figuring out the system. And now we're about to ask him to play 70 to 80% of the snaps, when he really should max out at 40 or 50 while he's developing. After McCaffrey, what's left? Dimey Brown? Jamison Crowder? Robbie Chosen from the practice squad? Now look at our upcoming schedule, because this is where things get UGLY. We've got the Chargers this week out in LA. Chargers have Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and a secondary that's playing lights out right now. After that, it's the Panthers twice in 4 weeks, but stuck in the middle we play the Ravens. If you think we're marching into Baltimore without McLaurin, without Brown, with this patchwork receiver group, and walking out with a win, you're living in some fantasy world. Here's what makes me the maddest. About all this, it could have been avoided in the offseason, when we had all that cap space and Peters was making big moves. Why didn't we bring in more depth at receiver? Signing Debo was brilliant, but what did we do after that? Absolutely nothing. Trusted that Brown would stay healthy. Trusted that McLaurin was made of steel. And look where we're at now. Here's the next layer you need to get. When you call someone up from the practice squad, you have to make a move on the 53. Someone's getting cut or getting IRD this week. My money says Brown is IR-bound a minimum of 4 weeks. And if McLaurin can't practice, if he's limited or a no-show on Wednesday and Thursday, we might lose him for multiple weeks too. I think this organization is in panic mode right now, but trying hard not to show it. Think about it. How often do you see Peters make a reactive practice squad move? It's rare. Peters is a planner. If he's making this move now, things are way worse than they're letting on. Here's the coldest truth. If we lose to the Chargers this week and drop to 2-3, our margin for error the rest of the way is tiny. The NFC East is brutal this year. The Eagles are undefeated. The Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott balling out. The Giants are shaky but dangerous. And we're out here just trying to keep our heads above water with our receiver room falling apart, Doc. So here's my question. Do you really trust Cliff Kingsbury to scheme around this? To draw up an offense that works with guys who don't even know the full playbook yet? Because that's our reality. Chosen's gonna have to pick things up on the fly, build chemistry with Daniels at practice, and do all of that in just 5 days before we play one of the best pass rushes in the league. Jam Baptist injury just makes it worse because now we're short at edge too. Quinn said he's out 4 months, which probably means IR, and we hope to see him by November. Meanwhile, we're all waiting for Preston Smith to finally debut and give us something, because Von Miller is sure not the answer. But more on that in a sec. Here's the critical point. This isn't just one isolated injury. It's not just two. We're watching a pattern of injuries hit at literally the worst possible time, just as we needed momentum off our 2-2 start. Bringing in Chosen, no matter how meaningless it looks on paper, is the alarm bell that the front office knows this is ugly. As wild as that is, stick with me, because this next one had my blood boiling since Sunday. Martian Lattimore, our Pro Bowl corner, the guy who was supposed to transform our secondary, is out there playing like he just learned the rules yesterday. The numbers against Atlanta are embarrassing. I'm not exaggerating. They're so bad I almost threw my laptop out the window watching the tape. Atlanta went after him 7 times. Gave up 4 catches, 63 yards, 4 first downs, 1 touchdown. That means every time Atlanta threw at Lattimore, they had a 57% shot of completing it. And when they did, it was basically an automatic chain mover. And here's the worst part. It's not a one-off. This is a trend. I've been watching Lattimore since he got here, and every week it's the same. He can run. He can keep up with receiver speed, but his coverage technique is in shambles. He's losing on breaks, showing up late, committing flags on 3rd and long to keep drives alive. Let's break down 2 specific plays from Sunday so you see how bad it is. First one, 2nd quarter, 3rd and 7 from Atlanta's 35. Michael Penix Jr., a rookie QB in his first start in the NFL, throws a comeback route Lattimore's way. Our elite corner stays in the receiver's hip, never attacks the ball. Easy catch, receiver snags 12 and the first down. Routine play every NFL corner should be making. Lattimore looks lost. Second play, 4th quarter, the killer. 1st and 10 from our 30, Lattimore, man on his guy, gives up a double move, gets torched. 30-yard touchdown that basically seals the game. Then after the play, what does Lattimore do? Complains to the refs, whines, like it's their fault he couldn't cover a basic go route after a comeback fake. Here's what. I say, I don't care how many Pro Bowls are on his resume. I don't care what his check looks like. If he's playing like this, he needs to be on the bench until he figures it out. Every Sunday Lattimore's out there getting picked on and burned is another Sunday we're handing points to the other team. What's even more frustrating? We have options. Michael Ayamudia is sitting on the bench. He's flash when given a shot. Kendall Fuller can play more outside. Benjamin St. Just can step up. But for some reason, Quinn is just turning a blind eye and acting like it's still 2019. And Lattimore's a saint. Let's put out Lattimore's full numbers this season so you grasp the big picture. In 4 games, he's allowed 16 catches on 24 targets. That's a 66.7% completion rate when thrown at. He's given up 213 yards, averaging 13.3 yards a catch. 3 touchdowns allowed. 5 penalties, 3 of them on third and long to give away more drives. How's that Pro Bowl play? Because I call it a straight-up disaster that's losing us games. The worst part, every opposing coordinator in the NFC East is watching this on film and scheming up ways to attack Lattimore. Eagles see it. Cowboys see it. And when we face Doc and CD Lamb in 3 weeks, do you think they're not going to pick on Lattimore every snap? Here's my question. How long do we let this experiment keep failing? How many more touchdowns given up? How many more third and longs before Quinn makes a change? And here's what really worries me about the future. Michael Penix Jr. is a rookie. This was his very first NFL start. And he lit us up. 24 completions on 34 throws, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. Most of that came from attacking Lattimore, over and over. So, if a rookie can do that, what happens when we see vets like Herbert this week or Lamar Jackson in a few weeks? The answer is obvious. They'll destroy us. They'll study the Atlanta tape, copy everything Penix did attacking Lattimore, and do it even better. Herbert's got one of the best arms in football. Lamar can pick apart a secondary however he wants. If Lattimore's on the field, they'll have a picnic. I think these changes need to happen now. Not next week. Not after the bye. Now. Because every week with Lattimore as our biggest liability on defense is another week we're just tossing games out the window. And at 2-2, we're out of wiggle room. And you know what this tells me about our defensive coaches? Either they don't see what we're seeing on tape, or they're just too loyal to a name and past reputation. Because honestly, any objective look at the past 4 weeks tells you Lattimore cannot be our number 1 corner right now. His play doesn't justify it. His stats don't. Keeping him there just says we've got no backup plan. But here's the thing. We do have a backup plan. There's talent in that corner room. What we don't have is the guts to make the tough call, to bench the veteran and make the switch. Until that happens, we'll see the same result, Sunday after Sunday, Sunday after Sunday. But nothing compares to this next one, because we have to talk about something that's honestly breaking my heart to say. Von Miller, all-time great pass rusher, is out there playing like he's never seen a quarterback before. Sunday's numbers were ugly. Miller played 21 defensive snaps. How many pressures did he manage? 0. Hits on the quarterback? 0. Hurries? 0. He was totally invisible rushing the passer, which is supposed to be his specialty, his one reason for being here. But it actually gets worse. He had 2 tackle opportunities all game. Want to guess how many he finished? None. That's a 100% missed tackle rate. TWO chances to make a play, fail both times. PFF, and they're pretty generous with old vets, gave him a grade of 36. Yes, 36. That made him the absolute worst defender on our roster last Sunday. Let's put that in context. Von Miller is a future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP. Whether he's 36 or not, he should be able to make plays, even in a limited role. What we're seeing is he can't even do the basics when he gets a chance. Let me be clear. I know his snaps are limited. He's not starting, he's in rotation. But when you're on the field, when you get 21 snaps, you have to produce. You can't just hang out, collect millions, and eat up plays. What drives me nuts about all this? We saw all the red flags before we signed him. Down seasons in Buffalo. Multiple injuries. 36 years old in a position where athleticism is critical. Yet we signed him just for the name and the hope he'd mentor our young pass rushers. And let me be fair, I'm not saying Miller's a bad dude or not trying. I'm sure he's working. But football is about results, and what we're getting is unacceptable for his price tag. And pedigree. Look at what happened against Atlanta specifically. The Falcons' offensive line has the 9th worst sack rate in the league. We should have had a field day. Instead, we got 1 sack, 8 total pressures, and 40 dropbacks. That is pathetic for a defensive line meant to have depth and talent. So here's the question. How long do we keep giving Miller snaps, hoping he magically turns back the clock? Truth is, it's not happening. The dude is 36. His body's been through a decade and a half of NFL wars. We can't keep living in the past hoping for that old explosion to come back, and the opportunity cost is huge. Every snap Miller's on the field is a snap we could be giving to Preston Smith, who's supposed to debut this week, or giving to Dorrance Armstrong in a bigger role. It's just wasted on a guy not getting it done. Now let's zoom out. This is what it means for the defense as a whole. Pass rush is the heart of what Dan Quinn wants to do on defense. It's all built around generating pressure with 4 rushers, letting the secondary play more aggressively. But when the pass rush fails, when guys like Miller are neutralized, the whole scheme crumbles. Look at what happened to Lattimore Sunday. Part of why Atlanta attacked him so much is Penix Jr. had all day to throw. No pressure in his face, could just sit back, read, and go after the weak link. Lattimore's struggles got exposed even worse because our pass rush wasn't there. Here's what I believe. Miller's not the answer anymore. He can stay on the roster, be a leader in the locker room, help out at practice. But the days of counting on him for meaningful snaps are done. Every Sunday he's out there. It's like playing with 10 defenders instead of 11. What really worries me? We play Herbert and the Chargers this week. Herbert's one of the best arms in football. If we can't pressure him, if Miller keeps vanishing and the rest of our rush can't step up, Herbert's going to carve us up. Panthers after that, and then Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. You give Lamar clean pockets, he'll destroy you with arm and legs. If we can't generate real pressure, he'll make us look like a highlight reel. Here's my direct question. Do you trust Dan Quinn's actually going to make changes? Or are we just going to see the same defensive look week after week hoping for miracles? It only gets worse with Jean Baptist's injury. He was just starting to look like a real contributor in the pass rush. Not putting up all-pro numbers, but making an impact. Now he's gone for months, and we're still rolling Miller out there. Getting nothing. Hope now's on Preston Smith. We all want to see him finally get out there and give us something. Anything. Because right now, with Miller invisible and Armstrong inconsistent, we are desperate for someone to step up at edge. If Smith can't deliver right away, then Adam Peters needs to be burning up the phones for outside help. I don't care if it takes a 5th or 6th round pick for a veteran edge before the trade deadline. What matters is we can't keep being one of the worst pass rushes in football when our whole defense depends on it. The hardest truth is, this defense, all that on-paper talent, is playing worse than the sum of the parts. And it's because guys like Miller and Lattimore aren't cutting it. I'm not saying we cut them tomorrow, but we have to get real about what these guys can and can't do right now. So Commanders fans, after today's rundown, here are my direct questions. Should Noah Brown go straight to IR so he can fully heal up, instead of us risking a worse injury by rushing him back? Because I say there's no way around it. It has to happen now. Do you agree with me that Marshon Lattimore needs to be benched? Until he proves in practice he can play at the level we're paying for? Because keeping him out there every Sunday, letting him get targeted and burned, is insanity. Keep doing the same thing. Expect different results. And what do we do with Von Miller once Preston Smith finally suits up? Do we give all Miller's snaps to Smith? Or do we keep riding with a big name and past reputation, instead of making the move that actually helps us win games? Drop your answers in the comments because I really need to know what Burgundy and Gold Nation is thinking right now. Are you worried like I am? Do you believe Peters and Quinn have a real plan to fix all this? Or is this just a bump in the road and everything's going to be fine? And listen up. If you want to stay plugged in with every single roster move, every injury update, every deep dive analysis on what's really going down with our team, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Tomorrow, I'll have exclusive info on McLaurin's status after Wednesday's practice. And the next 48 hours are going to be huge to determine who's available against the Chargers. /like. If you agree, we need defensive changes right now. Subscribe if you think this organization needs to get transparent about injuries and stop selling us on the day-to-day routine when everyone knows guys are headed for air. And share this video with every Commanders fan you know because everyone needs to see this. We're a family here, Commanders fans. And in families, we tell the hard truths, even when they hurt, even when we don't want to hear them. That's what real families do. Stay honest with each other. But we also stick together when things get rough. And right now, sitting at 2-2 with injuries piling up and vets underperforming. We need that unity more than ever. This week against the Chargers is critical. This isn't hype. It's not clickbait. It's the truth. If we win, we stay alive in the playoff race, prove we can win on the road against good teams. If we lose, it's 2-3, and the mountain we have to climb just keeps getting steeper with this brutal schedule. Catch you in the next video for more exclusive breakdowns. I'll have the full Wednesday practice rundown, injury updates, and my game prediction for the Chargers. And remember, hail to the Redskins!